Let's watch this video clip and do the activity. Effective data collection. Once you have decided on your methodology, you will need to determine which data collection methods would be best suited for your research. The data collection methods fall into two categories: primary sources and secondary sources. Primary sources are original sources collected by the researcher that have never previously been collected. This data is collected firsthand using various methods. A secondary source is data that has been previously collected by someone else for a different purpose. It consists of both published and unpublished data. The advantage of using secondary sources is that they are readily available and do not need to be collected again. However, it may not meet your specific research needs. And the focus will be on a collection of data from primary sources through qualitative and quantitative methods. Once you have defined the problem statement, the next step is to collect the data which can help to solve the defined problem. Data collection is a systematic approach to gather relevant information from a variety of sources. Depending on the problem statement, the data collection method is broadly classified into two categories. When you have a unique problem and no related research is done on the subject, then you need to collect new data. This method is called as primary data collection. For example, you want information on the average time that employees spend in a cafeteria across companies. There is no public data available for this, but you can collect the data through various methods such as surveys, interviews of employees, and by monitoring the time spent by employees in a cafeteria. This method is time-consuming. Collecting the data through various methods such as surveys, interviews of employees, and by monitoring the time spent by employees in cafeteria is time-consuming. Another method is to use the data which is readily available or collected by someone else. This data can be found on open-source websites such as Kaggle, Gapminder, news articles, government census, magazine, and so on. This method is called as secondary data collection. It is less time-consuming than the primary method. For our problem statement on English Premier League, EPL, we have collected and aggregated the data from various open-source websites such as GitHub, Kaggle, and DataHub. A snapshot of the data collected is shown on the screen. As you can see, some attributes such as age, weight, and height have numeric values. These values can be analyzed statistically. This type of data is known as quantitative data. Other attributes such as name of the player and the club provide more information about the player. Measurements and analysis for these are done differently from those done with quantitative data, like height and weight. This type of data is known as qualitative data. We have various tools and techniques regarding how to read data and analyze it with the help of some basic tools like Pareto chart, fishbone diagram, scatter diagram, correlation and regression, histogram, and control chart. The power of these tools is effective only when the collection of data is effective. Therefore, they are the most important data collection techniques, without which you cannot analyze the data effectively. This effective data collection not only reduces the efforts but also time to achieve sustainable results. At this point in time, we know the types of data and applicable tools in particular data types. Data collection techniques. Information you gather can come from a range of sources. Likewise, there are a variety of techniques to use when gathering primary data. Here are some of the most common data collection techniques. Number 1. Interviews. In-depth interviews include both one-on-one or individual interviews as well as group interviews. The data can be recorded in a wide variety of ways, including stenography, audio recording, video recording, or written notes. In interviews, it is assumed that there are a questioner and one or more interviewees. The purpose of the interview is to probe the ideas of the interviewees about the phenomenon of interest. Number 2. Surveys or questionnaires. Surveys or questionnaires are used for collecting data in survey research. They usually include a set of standardized questions that explore a specific topic and collect information about demographics, opinions, attitudes, or behaviors. Number 3. Observations. This can be done directly or indirectly with the subject knowledge or unaware that you are observing them. You may choose to collect data through continuous observation or via set time periods, depending on your project. Number 4. Case studies. A case study is usually an in-depth description of a process, experience, or structure at a single institution. In order to answer a combination of what and why questions, case studies generally involve a mix of quantitative, such as surveys, users, statistics, etc., and qualitative, such as interviews, focus groups, etc., data collection techniques. Most often, the researcher will analyze quantitative data first and then use qualitative strategies to look deeper into the meaning of the trends identified in the numerical data. Number 5. Checklists. They can be simple lists of criteria that can be marked as present or absent, or can provide space for observer comments. These tools can provide consistency over time or between observers. Checklists can be used for evaluating databases or for structuring peer observations of instruction sessions.